Alessandra, we are so excited to hear that you'll be representing Kenya in the Olympics. But let's start with, who is Alexandra Ndolo?
So I'm a German-born, half Kenyan, half Polish professional athlete. I've been doing sports all my life. I started with track and field when I was 5. When I was 10, I started doing pentathlon. And when I was 21, I specialized in fencing. Well, I was born and raised in Germany and spent most of my life in Germany. So I consider myself 3 things. I consider myself Polish, because that's my mother. I consider myself German, because the culture you grow up in and where you live, that also shapes your identity. And I consider myself Kenyan through my father.
So as a Kenyan German, and you say you started fencing, you've always been a sports lady, and then you started fencing in your 20s?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So tell us, what is this game called fencing?
So yeah, fencing is a combat sport. It's one-on-one, one person against the other. It's a martial art, but not as physical as, for example, boxing or taekwondo or judo, because the only way that you score a touch and how you touch the opponent is with the weapon, with the épée, what I'm doing, or the foil or the saber. So all fencing weapons have in common that it's one-on-one and you try to score a touch by touching the opponent. But épée is, you can score on the whole body, head to toe, and doesn't matter which region you hit, you get 1 point, because I've also been asked whether you get special points for touching the head or the foot. No, it's all the same.
Okay.
Then we have foil fencing, where you touch only on the torso. They have like a silver vest, no arms, no legs, and no head. You need the right of attack. So the one who attacks first gets the point, or you need to block the attack and re-attack. So it's a bit more complicated. And then we have saber fencing, where you also need the right of attack, but you can score from the hip upwards with arms and with the head, and you can also strike sideways, not just front.
So I happen to know that you've also done modeling, and you're also very tall. It's very obvious you are a very beautiful girl. Why would this beautiful girl, who is also modeling, go for a sport that for some of us ordinary people, it looks like it could damage your features?
So I was doing modeling for the last years. I think right out of high school, whenever there was something, I would go for those modeling jobs. I was also singing in high school. Wow. But sports always made me very happy, and it keeps you in the moment. I like the physical exercise before the running and swimming for modern pentathlon. I really enjoy it. I still do it. So sports is just something that, it keeps me in the moment. And I also think sports are very honest, because, going into the arts, modeling or singing, I think it's actually more difficult, because you need people's approval to tell you that something was good. But in sports, either you're fast or you score a touch or not. No one can take this away from you. So I always like that side.
Tell us, how did you get into competitive fencing, and how far have you gone in these levels of competition?
So I've been doing competitive modern pentathlon when I was a teenager, and fencing is one of the 5 sports. But as every sport that has multiple sports in it, you are never a specialist. You're like, you know what you're doing, but you're not, you don't know 100% what you're doing. The specialist will always be able to beat you, almost always. And so when I specialized, when I was 21, I had so much to learn. But I was already doing or training on a competitive level, just trying to qualify for the big competitions. Yes. And since then, I've won some World Cup medals, which is our second highest, highest competitions. It's kind of like the Grand Slams in tennis. So I won some World Cup medals first, and then I won 2 medals at the European Championships. And last July, I won the silver medal at the World Championships.
World Championship, that sounds big, because it's wild, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the biggest one,
The biggest.
apart from the Olympics, but it's difficult to compare World Championships and Olympic Games, because in Olympic Games, every sport has a very specific qualification system, and the fencing system is, let's call it interesting. In the end, only about 40 people participate in the Olympic Games. So qualifying is extremely difficult, but once you're there, to have a, let's say, top 20 placement is not so difficult, because there are only 40 people there. To compare it with the World Championships, we had, I think, 170 participants at the World Championships. From all the countries could send 4 of their players. So I was fencing against a girl from Nepal, from Korea, from China, from like all over the world, from the Pan Americas. So it's to get to the top in World Championships is a very long and difficult way.
You went for the World Championship as a German national, isn't it? Yeah. You represented Germany and you got silver medal, just one step to having the gold. And now you've decided for the Olympics, which only takes 40 of the best in the world, you're going to do it as a Kenyan. What went into your mind and why did you decide to do that?
The last 15 years I was fencing for Germany, and I think we had a really great time, a successful time, like 3 major medals, World Cup medals, good placements with the team. But I was building the Kenyan Federation for the last years, the Kenyan Fencing Federation. And, you know, there comes a moment when you're like, it's not so much a head decision, maybe more a heart decision. And when I started my fencing engagement in Kenya in 2014, 2015, it was all about it was a hard decision. It was like, how can I show what I love to do on a daily basis in one of the countries that I consider myself to be from? And it grew and it grew, and we became a federation. And my question to myself this summer when I was sitting down with the team in Nairobi was, okay, how can I further the cause even better? Because all that I've done now was like paperwork, sport political representation, bringing equipment and everything. So the next big step for me for this moment would be winning medals for Kenya, because it gives attention and also obviously it gives joy to the whole system. Because I mean, I came in August to Kenya with a silver medal that I had officially won for Germany. And from the moment I landed in Nairobi, I mean, I was laughing because I landed and I was in the same plane with some of the Kenyan guys who went to track world championships. Yes. And they were being greeted by like dancers and middle of the night. And people are like, yeah, our heroes are coming home. And I'm getting out of the plane a little bit like, is this for me? No, it's not. Let's celebrate. And for the whole 2 weeks that I was there, people were so proud and so overjoyed, and they were claiming me and saying, yeah, it was for Germany, but you have Kenyan, so you know we are happy for us, we're happy for you, and I just hope to give more reasons for that joy, because I like how much each and every Kenyan celebrates when we win something, when we achieve something, and you know, you are in the film industry, so if you do something great and you represent us, I'm sure that you bring the same joy to ordinary people who say, hey, I'm doing my job, which is very important for the system. It might not be broadcasted, but I'm happy to see that someone else who's like on a big stage is doing it also in my ways.
Yeah. You had been helping Kenya to form a federation for fencing. Yes. So please walk us through, what did that involve, and where does it link with the Kenya National Olympics Committee? Please just educate us a little bit.
In order to be affiliated by the World Fencing Federation, you have to be affiliated by your National Olympic Committee.
Yes.
So in Kenyan case, the NOC. Yes. And the NOC was reforming, actually, when we were trying to be affiliated with them. I think most people remember that after the Rio Olympics, there was a bit of a bad situation, so they had to restructure. And once the NOC restructured itself, we could become a member of NOC, and then I could take all the paperwork and go to the World Fencing Federation and register as there. Wow. Then we had to go to the World, every year the World Fencing Federation has a congress, an annual congress. that's where the members vote whether to accept you or not. And we got accepted. There was just one out of like 130 votes withholding. I still don't know who it was because obviously it was a secret vote, but
yeah. When you represent Kenya in the upcoming Olympics, you will find probably your former counterparts in Germans representing Germany. How will that work?
Well, I will try to see it as just another match because I don't like to make it personal. Fencing is already a very psychological sport where you fight with the body as well as the mind. You need to have your strategy. You have to always also think of the strategy that the opponent might have. And so for me, it won't be personal because I think that I left on good terms. I explained why I want to do it. And I think that saying you want to represent your late father's country, I think it's difficult to argue with it. Of course, the German Federation wasn't happy because we had a really successful period behind us. Actually, the silver medal at World Championships that I won was the only medal for the German Federation in that World Championship. So I understood that they weren't happy, but I think we left on good terms. And so for me, it won't be different than fencing against anybody else. Okay. If one or two individuals might take it personal, well, then it's for me, it's still a fencing match, and I have to deal with whatever is on the other side and try to get through my strategy. Yeah.
Let me take you a few steps back to the federation. You have helped Kenya to get a federation registered. It's going to be literally very active in participating in the Olympics. How else can the success of a federation be mapped than participating in the Olympics? Then what? What happens after that? Mm-hmm. Are we going to have a fencing team here, or what are your plans and your aspirations?
Yes. So for me, this is just the beginning. If I'm being honest, I don't know how long my fencing career will be. I was saying to myself, maximum the LA Olympics, so in 2028. Mm-hmm. As long as I enjoy fencing, but I think I will still enjoy it for a couple of more years. But I just hope to be an inspiration and maybe someone, who like starts a system, shoulders you can stand on for the next ones, because I love fencing so much and I've learned and gotten so much through it that I wanted this opportunity for Kenyans as well, because in the other countries that I'm connected to, the system already existed. So Germany, Poland, they have everything. Okay. And so we already had our first male fencer in this year's World Championships. He participated there. Wow. And I just hope there will be many, many more. And any medal that I win, hopefully will strengthen the system so that we can build a team. I really would love to build a fencing hall in Nairobi. I'm looking for funds. Anyone who wants to be part of that big milestone, please contact me. And I would like to have also a fencing club in every county. I know that is very ambitious, but why not,
Do you see the possibility of, as when you retire from the sports, that you come and settle in Kenya and you run it even as a business, not just charity, but also as a business? Do you see that possibility?
Yeah, I could imagine this for sure, 100%. But for me, a very important part again is because I don't like fencing to be a rich people's sport. I think it's very elegant. And I like that side, but elegance doesn't have to mean rich. And for me, I said, as long as I'm involved with the Kenyan Fencing Federation, we need to have a part where we make it possible for someone who has no financial aid to be a fencer. So if you come, you do the training, you show us that you really want to do it, we will find a way for you to have lessons for free. This is like very important to me, because one of the reasons why my fencing career also got delayed a little bit, but that's maybe going too much into my biography, is the fact that my family didn't have a lot of money. And I could have gone to a boarding school from the German Fencing Federation when I was 13, 14. We couldn't afford it. So my career was delayed by 7 years. And those 7 years are crucial to fencers or to any sport. This is when you lay the foundation. So I guess I'm talented and a hard worker. This is why I got where I am right now. But imagine what my career could have been if I had had those crucial years with the great coaches in the German system, then the sky probably would have been the limit.
To me, Sandra, that is what I call a GB moment. That is goosebumps moment. When you say you don't want it to be a rich kids, rich people's sports, but you want it to go down up to the grassroots. That is fantastic. And I'm hoping and wishing you the best, that you're able to do a lot of fundraising and we get the fencing hall done, and you're able to even do visits into all the counties in Kenya and introduce the sport. Wouldn't that be lovely if we started, not if, when?
When.
We start county competitions coming up to national on fencing.
Yes.
That is a fantastic dream. And that is a dream that can become a reality, Sandra.
Yeah. I think I will achieve it actually, because so far all of my dreams, maybe they were a bit big, but I'm achieving them, and I'm not scared of working for a long time to achieve them.
You see it as a reality.
Yeah.
Introducing fencing at all levels in the country, regardless of social and economic status. I love that. And I think it's doable. And when you're ready, as you're doing this, I know it's an ongoing process. There are many of us you should contact, and we help you make this dream come true. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
I know you're a very tall lady. Do you have to be very tall to do fencing?
No.
How tall are you, and to what advantage has height helped you?
I'm 5'11", and I have also pretty long legs and arms. So yes, this was an advantage, and I'm left-handed. So that's a very good combination, because there are not so many left-handed people. So it's a different style of fencing. But the girl that I lost against at European Championships and then won in the semifinals of the World Championships, she is not even 1.70 meters. She's like 160 something, and she's a double world champion and silver medalist from Olympic Games. So it doesn't really matter what size you are. It's more a matter of mental strength.
It always looks like fencing. You need a lot of expensive those suits, the helmets, the swords, or whatever you call them. How do you plan to get our Kenyans to have a supply of that?
Yeah, I've been bringing equipment for the last years. Every visit I come, I bring equipment from one of my sponsors, Outstar. They're a fencing sponsor. They've been helping us a lot. So whenever I come, I bring supplies. And then for the beginning states, you don't need to have your own suit. You can share. And that's what my kids in Kenya are doing more, the teenagers. They're sharing. Later, when you go to a competition, you need your own kit. But that's also, it's like a one-time investment, and you can wear it for a very long time. So it's not expensive in this way. It's just, the first stock for the club might be a bit of an investment.
Fantastic. As we conclude this, Sandra, what are your last few comments for fellow Kenyans? You noticed when it was put out on social media by the National Olympics Committee of Kenya, there was lots of comments from people of all walks of life. There was so much excitement. People who don't even know you, people who don't even know about the game, and but there was excitement that you're coming home to play for Kenya. What message would you like to send to Kenyans out there?
I love the excitement. I'm so happy. I'm so thankful, and I will do my best to win as much and to bring as many good results as I can to Kenya, because I know how much joy it brings. So I really want to represent as well. Actually, last weekend, so 2 days ago, I had my first small competition. It was a preparation for the season, and I was wearing the Kenyan suit for the first time, and I got so excited. So I was like, whoa, how exciting will this be for all of us once it's really out there, it's on the world stage. So yes, I'm hopeful. Hopefully I can bring a lot of joy to all of us.
You're already bringing a lot of joy to us. You must keep us updated of the competitions you play between now and the Olympics. And for sure, the day you're on the Olympics, we will be watching you. We'll make sure we tell our media, we know there are those sports that you cover. There's this one you must cover. So we are rooting for you, and we're most grateful, and we'll keep following you. And thank you so much. Yeah. One last thing, Sandra, I told you when I met you when I was a little kid, just from watching TV, my bucket list, I was like, one day I would try fencing. One day I will. Well, it's a little bit late, but here I am talking to a world champion. Yeah. So I will be seeing you soon in Cologne, and you'll give me a feel of this game called fencing.
Yes.
And we'll take pictures. I don't promise you I will be able to do a thing, but I promise you I will have fun making a mess of it all. So thank you so much, Sandra, and I'll be seeing you in Cologne soon. Okay?
Great. Looking forward to seeing you.
Thank you, Sandra. And bye-bye. And again, asante sana.
Okay? Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.